This episode of Cattle Call Podcast is sponsored by Bluff City Cash Offer. If you are in the Memphis, Tennessee area and are looking to sell a property, Bluff City Cash Offer will buy it in the condition it is in. To schedule an appointment, give them a phone call. And to find out more info, you can like their page on Facebook at Bluff City Cash Offer. That's BLUFFCITYCASHOFFER, just like it sounds. A big thank you to Bluff City for sponsoring today's episode, and also a big thank you to you for tuning into Cattle Call Podcast. See you on the other side. Cattle Call Podcast. Got a special edition here, March Madness Sports Betting Edition, and have two guests here. We have Caleb King.
What's up?
Our sports betting expert, and we have Peter Shadrach. Big, filthy Peter Shadrach, our sports betting amateur, who's going to ask all of our questions.
That's exactly right.
Okay, guys, what teams are we wearing for this edition? Caleb King, what are you wearing tonight?
Oh, got to represent the home state, 870-501, Arkansas, the University of Arkansas.
And that's the Razorbacks?
That would be the Razorback of Wild Hogs.
Oh, are they different? Are Razorbacks and Hogs different?
Same thing.
Same thing. What about your hat, dude?
Yeah, big Raiders guy. You know, I'm wearing black, so I figured I'd wear a black hat as well. So just trying to match up, really.
Dude, so we have the Razorbacks and the Raiders over here. Just a bunch of winners.
Oh.
So I'm glad our sports betting expert knows how to pick winners.
Gotta win.
And then Pete Shadrach. Pete, what teams are you wearing tonight?
Well, you see here, son.
What's that on your shirt?
You see, I have the Longhorns winning all the way, Natty.
Wow.
They're beating out Baylor in the national championship. Calling it right here. You heard it first here, folks.
Wow, dude. The Battle of I-35. Look at that, man.
You got that right.
Yeah, that's right. So we have Pete Shadrach.
Expert over here.
Yeah,
right?
Texas Longhorns. Okay, Caleb King, tell the people about yourself.
Man,
what do you do?
Obviously, being from Arkansas, big homer here. But, I live here in Memphis. Mm-hmm. I work for a company called Kim Search. People probably don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. If you're familiar with a company called Ecolab. So anytime you guys go stick your hands underneath a, hand dispenser unit.
Like for your sanitizer?
Sanitizer, okay. Yep. So a lot of that stuff. So we do all kinds of chemicals. But I manage the Memphis territory. So my territory ranges from about Little Rock to Nashville. Spend a lot of time on the road doing sales. Helping out a lot of hospitals right now, hospitality industry, property managements, just kind of a wide variety of things. Do a lot of driving, putting a lot of miles on the vehicle, but it's fun. It's definitely not Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I enjoy it. Been doing it for about 6 months now. So
6 months now. And where are you from, King?
I'm from Jonesboro. Shout out to the A70.
Oh, Howell, yes.
Yes. Went to Arkansas State, but if you know anything about Arkansas, I grew up a Hogs fan because we don't have any kind of pro sports around here. So I grew up going to games in Fayetteville, and it's carried over into my 20s. And here we are, still calling the Hogs today.
Man, calling the Hogs, even though you went to Arkansas State.
Even though I went to Arkansas State, I'm technically a Red Wolf, by blood. Yes. But nothing can take the Hogs from the heart.
Yeah, that's right, man. Pete Shadrach, tell them about yourself.
Well, been in real estate the last 4 years or so, and just looking to keep climbing the ladder, getting further in the career path. But here I am tonight, just willing to learn about March Madness, sports betting, all of the works, and pulling for the Longhorns.
Yeah, why? Why you like the Longhorns?
Austin native, here to just slay them queen.
What?
You can edit that out.
I don't know about that.
But dude, yeah, just here loving life, man, loving Jesus, man. Just here to just have a good time. Learn more about sports betting tonight.
Learn more about sports betting.
Yeah, just ask some good questions.
Oh, we'll see. So a little bit how I know King and Pete. Caleb King. Everyone calls him King.
Yep.
Met Caleb King on a summer project in Orlando. Spent 2 summers down there with him, and was kind of the I don't know, man, my guide when I go up to Jonesboro, which is about an hour.
Yeah, once you get over the bridge,
Yeah.
you're about 50 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, it's like
So
hour
not bad.
northwest of Memphis, so it's a great little getaway. Love Jonesboro, hell yes. And then so met King through campus outreach, summer projects in Lagoon, and then last year in Downline met with Pete. Stayed in the same house, and then Pete bought the house next door. So talk
Here
about
we
real
are.
estate, man. Just buying houses right and left, just like Bluff City Cash Offer, man. If you're going to sell your house in the Memphis area, hit up Bluff City Cash Offer.
There
They
you
will
go.
buy your house wholesale.
Yeah, Bluff City Cash Offer is sponsoring this video.
Yeah.
And
Thank you. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. What we do, I have a Facebook page. You can go on there and like it. But what we do is we buy houses from people who are in undesirable situations, whether they want to sell for cash, whether they need to get out of the house quickly. We'll come in and buy it from them for a good price and take it off their hands and help them out the best we can. So
Thank you, Bluff City Cash Offer, for sponsoring this episode of Cattle Call Podcast.
one cigar for sponsorship.
That'll work. We'll do it later. Okay, so here we are, sports betting March Madness. King, talk about your sports betting background here, so people know who you are and what you do and why you're still in it.
Oh, by no means am I a professional. Just a man who likes sports. Went to college. Actually, I guess technically I went into college without a major, but then I realized, man, I got to do something that I'm passionate about if I'm gonna spend all this money.
Sure.
So I knew I was passionate about sports from a young age. Obviously, I didn't. I'm not in the NFL or anything.
Could have been.
So I don't know.
I've seen your huddle.
Not the huddle highlights.
Yeah.
But essentially, I was like, I love sports. I want to do something along those lines. I went in thinking I was going to be a coach or an agent or
Right.
something like that. And then I realized, I didn't even play Division I football, so my chances of being a big time coach are kind of slim here.
Yeah.
So I began just hanging out with some buddies and one night just laying around. We're like, hey, dude, we should try gambling on sports.
Sure.
Studied it just like you would anything you're passionate about, and then just kind of went from there. And then that was about 6-7 years ago. And then, ever since then, been doing a little bit of winning, probably a lot of losing,
Yeah.
But here we are. March Madness is back, 2 years without it. So it was the only event last year that did not get to finish. So here we are. It's a big event coming up.
So we were in the middle of it when it got canceled last year.
Yeah, last year we were in the conference championships.
That's right.
And then they canceled the third day of the conference tournament. So
So they didn't do it last year.
they did not finish up last year. So technically we haven't had a winner since 2019.
Wow, that's crazy. Who won in 2019? Do we remember? That's why we all have our computers. I don't. That's like a blur now after all this stuff going on.
No, Virginia won.
Oh, because
Yeah,
they were the Cinderella because
They lost the
first
first year.
round the year before.
I mean, any good gambler would know somebody's not going to get embarrassed their second year back. They're not going to lose again. So I actually had Virginia winning last year. I did not have Texas Tech in the championship, though. So shout out to the Red Raiders for a good fight last year.
Oh, dude, guns up, baby. That's Patrick Mahomes. I saw him and Kelsey were actually at that game.
Yeah. I mean, that was a heck of a run by Texas Tech. Played a lot of defense. It could definitely get some buckets.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, so because Virginia, weren't they the first team in college basketball history to be knocked out the first round the year before and then turn around and win the national championship the year afterwards?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a number one seed's never lost to a 16. So that was history in itself. And then you come back the next year and answer with a title. Kind of shut everybody up a little bit.
Oh, dude. Was it Wahoos? Their nickname? Anyway, okay. I've never done a computer on a podcast. Clearly, y'all can hear. Okay, so let's talk sports betting here. Let's get an overview. Pete, do you have any questions about sports betting before we make King just fire off answers?
Well, kind of an expert, so no questions here on my side. So
Yeah, great for you, man. Okay, let's talk sports betting. It's a huge topic now.
Yeah.
It's going on a lot.
Definitely.
In fact, not even just sports betting. You can bet on anything.
Anything. I mean, whether it's, if you're into politics, you can bet on politics. Or, I mean, you saw, obviously, with, the Super Bowl, there's 700 kind of props. What kind of Gatorade, how long the national anthem's going to be. I mean, there's just everything. and it's the fastest growing industry in as far as entertainment goes in the USA Today.
Okay, talk about how many people are going to bet on March Madness.
Yeah, so I was reading through some statistics online, and so obviously the numbers vary, but they're saying overall, whether you're putting in $5 into a pool with some of your friends or your buddies or some your coworkers or whatever, that over 40% of Americans will be gambling in some type of form this March on March Madness. And I mean, think about it. We hadn't had March Madness in 2 years.
Yeah,
So
right.
they're expecting to have the most money ever wagered on a tournament this year.
Wow. No kidding. Okay. So let's talk betting. Well, let's talk all the different terms. When you hear money line, you hear odds, you hear predictions, you hear spread.
Right.
Let's talk through it all.
So easiest way to do it is money line. So if you just want to, hey man, I'm gonna I pick Texas over here to beat.
Sure.
Go Horns.
Yeah. Horns down.
So I got Texas winning this game. All you would do is money line is saying I'm taking Texas money line. I picked Texas to win this game.
So that's all it means when you say I take Texas at the money line or whatever?
I'm taking Texas money line. Obviously odds vary.
Right.
I mean Texas could be a 4-point favorite. They'd be -4, but yet if you take them at -160, essentially what the -160 means money line is you would have to bet $160 to win 100.
To win one. Because it's like a guarantee.
Right. So it doesn't mean if Texas wins by 3 or if they win by 30, you took a money line, so they won the game.
So either way, it pays out the same.
Pays out the exact same. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, but then the odds, that's where you're seeing different amounts.
Right. So I mean, odds depending on the more that a team is favored by. So whether Texas is, if Texas, for example, is favored by 10 points, you're looking at a money line being like -220, which means you'd have to bet $220 to win 100. It's a lot. It's a lot bigger risk because they're supposed to win, right?
Right.
But if Texas is only favored by say 2 points, you're looking at the money line being -120. So you're only having to risk 120 for Texas to win.
Right.
Which is why going into the next topic, people bet lines. So Texas, for example, going back to, hey, I'm taking Texas to cover the spread. That means if Texas is -10, it means Texas is now favored by 10 points, which means if Texas wins by 11 points, 12 points, 13 points and on, they cover the spread. If their opponent, for example, say, Big 12 rivalry, Oklahoma, say Oklahoma is playing Texas and Oklahoma loses by 8 points, so they lose by less than 10 points, it means Oklahoma covered the spread. So Oklahoma bettors win compared to if Texas wins by
if
more
you
than
bet
10.
that Oklahoma would cover the spread,
Right.
and they only lost by 9 or less,
Right.
they covered the spread,
Correct.
and so you win that bet, even though Oklahoma lost.
Correct.
Right.
So that's why a lot of people these days tend to find those games they're more confident in and bet the spread.
Really?
Because you're, for example, normally whenever you are gambling the spread, you will never find a line more than like -115.
Oh,
So
no kidding.
depending on what book you're at, obviously,
Right.
there's tons of books out there, but depending on what book you're at, you're looking at -115, maybe 120. Just kind of depends on where the money's at. So,
Gotcha. Okay, and now for people that don't know anything about betting, let's talk like over under. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. All the different terminologies.
Yeah, so over-under is just how many points are going to be scored in the game combined between both teams. So if it's a high-scoring team, let's say Oklahoma and Texas, we'll throw a number out at 150 just to make it simple. So that's saying that combined, if you were to take the over, you would need both teams to score combined more than 150 points. If you take the under, which I mean the under is for losers. Nobody bets the under. Don't ever bet the under. So if you were to bet the under, though, for those people who want to bet the under, that means that you would hope that they don't score a lot of points and that combined they're below 150. And then you would win money.
Man. Which I bet, okay, how often do you think the under actually wins?
Oh, I mean, numbers are around, they're both around 50%. I mean, they fluctuate in between 48, 52, something like that. It just depends on the game. I mean, you could get two slow offenses that explode and somehow end up with 80 points each, which is rare. Most people would have probably taken the under. I mean, you win some, you lose some. I typically don't like betting. I never bet the under, for one.
Really?
It's for losers. Don't ever bet the under. So I, for one, never bet the under. If I were to ever do a over-under, I would definitely find a game that I liked, and I would take the over because who wants to watch teams not score? I mean, come on. That's no fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the, it was the 2019 Super Bowl. You remember that Rams and Patriots?
So
the two
boring.
teams that nobody wanted. and final score was like 13-3.
So boring. Yeah.
It's like I bet that one was the under because I bet it was like, I bet the over under on that's going to be.
I want to say the over under on that game
something.
was in between 42 and 45,
which would make sense,
right?
But
So
yeah.
common.
Yeah, because remember that year the Chiefs lost to the Patriots twice, and both times the teams that put up 40 points each.
Right.
And then the same year is when the Rams and Chiefs played,
Right.
and it was 53-51. So you're thinking, both these teams are capable of putting up 40, 50 points. But they had good defenses too, strong secondaries. 13-3. What a boring Super Bowl.
Oh, I love sports.
Oh, dude, love sport. What's your favorite sport?
Football. There's nothing like waking up, grabbing some coffee, game day, Saturday morning, going to watch the Hogs, calling them. Got a little football game. We finally won some games this year, so we got a little something to be proudful about over here.
Yeah, and like a half season.
Yeah. in a season, I guess
This is the
technically. I don't know
year.
if it counts, but it counts to us,
Man, all right, Pete, what are you thinking, dude?
Dude, a lot of questions here. A lot of questions.
All right.
King spitting out a lot of terminology here
Lot
that
of
the common
terminology.
folk probably wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
So, talking all this over-under stuff, you just got to wonder, how long did it take you to get to this point where you're just speaking this term? Like, it's like if somebody were to, hop in the, real estate world and not know anything about
right.
real estate, and then they start talking about, leases and what's on the leases and stuff, you'd probably just think it's gibberish. So,
Yeah.
That's where you're at.
but yeah, I'm that's where I'm at right now. But I'm willing to learn, and I'm ready for the Horns just come in and just win this
Dude,
tournament all the way.
If the Horns win the tournament, I'll reach out to Matthew McConaughey about doing a Zoom podcast.
Oh, my.
So I can't
There you
guarantee
go.
you'll come
There you
on,
go.
but we'll ask. So
That's what's
he
up,
might
man.
like the name Cattle Call. Who knows?
Oh, he might.
Yeah.
Just
And if
Memphis,
the Hogs
Texas.
win, you could maybe even reach out to Jerry Jones and just be like, hey, man.
Say, hey, Jerry, you mind flying up on your jet?
Yeah, just a couple of questions for you real quick. Okay, so how did you get into all the sports betting stuff?
Man, so
how long has it taken you to learn?
Yeah, so I started off, dibbling and dabbling a little bit back in, college, freshman year of college. Obviously, I was in a fraternity, and I would assume
Obviously.
if you're in a fraternity and you're
Obviously you were.
and if you're listening to this in a fraternity, there's a high chance that of a lot of people that gamble,
Sure.
if not yourself. And whether that's $20 a game or you do more than that, I mean, cool. I'm sure you got started somehow from one of your brothers or some of your buddies, and they're like, you're sitting up Saturday morning talking about parlays or something,
Right.
So.
Talk parlay too in a minute.
Yeah, I'll talk parlay. Everybody loves a good old parlay.
We love a good parlay.
But yeah, I mean, I started there and then kind of went from there. And obviously, I love sports, so I'm going to watch sports as much as I can. And then once I realized that I can sit on my couch or hang out on a Saturday and make money or obviously you can lose money.
True.
But hang out with my friends watching sports, which is something that all the boys want to do, right? Saturdays are for the boys, right?
Oh, very true.
That's what they say.
So I mean, laying around watching some football or basketball, winning money is always fun, and then it just kind of goes from there.
Turn into a lifestyle.
And I just I quit my job so I could gamble.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a lot of fun. I just kind of started from there, and then the years go by as you get older. So here we are.
Okay, but before we get all into like the nitty gritty of gambling,
Right.
do you want to talk to listeners if they're, let's say they're like me and Pete, we're lay people, and we go, oh, it seems pretty glamorous. I could put in a couple dollars. I can win $400,000. I see these things on Barstool and ESPN and stuff. Do you want to talk about how much of a vice it can also be?
Oh, let me tell you. When I first started, whenever I first started, I had some rough get-goes. Every college kid, regardless of whatever money you make, there's a lot of guys out here who bust their butt in college and make their own money, but majority of people, I would say, still live off of their parents, right? So, you get down money and, a couple $100 in college. I mean, that's entertainment money from whatever you're doing. And I'm realizing like, oh man, I'm down some money. I got to pay this, I got to pay up.
Right.
Going from there, and then just there's weeks where you win and you think you're invincible, right? So you're riding the high, and the next week you get humbled. It's just it's a roller coaster of emotions. That's why you can't. I mean, it's something that is easily addictive. I mean, if you have an addictive personality, I mean, by this time if you have an addictive personality or not, right? So I would say if it's something that you can't control, I wouldn't even try it. It's one of those that I just kind of started on at a young age and just kind of went from there. But it took a lot of discipline, kind of learning from my mistakes throughout the years. But have fun with it. I mean, it's not life or death. But,
Hopefully. You see the movies where they're in trunks and stuff. They didn't pay their bookie.
yeah.
What are some safeguards you can put in place if you know you are addictive, or you're just trying to instill some discipline?
Yeah. I mean, I would just say, like, have a budget in mind. I mean, like, don't gamble $10,000 if you have $2,000 in your bank account, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, be disciplined about that. I mean, think about your bills and your finances and stuff like that. But then at the same time, I kind of view gambling as an entertainment cost. So if I were to go out on a Friday night, grab dinner or a drink and, hang out or go somewhere, afterwards, I mean, you're looking at a $50, $60 night. It's like, cool, I didn't do that tonight. So that's, $60 that I would have left over to, gamble or, just for et cetera, if that's how you're first starting out. But I mean, at the same time, if it's becoming a thing where you're laying around all day and you don't do anything productive and all you do is watch sports and gamble, then you might want to reconsider gambling.
Yeah.
So,
dude, that's
don't get me
true.
wrong. There's guys who do it for a living, but they're also millionaires. So,
Right. Yeah. They can kind of afford to at that point.
Right.
Because you're working a full-time job.
Right. Yeah. I work 40 plus hours a week traveling, so I don't have time to, sit in my car and look at sports all day. Whenever I get home, I eat dinner, and then if I'm, whatever I got going on that night, then
Dude, and then you just go to the gym for hours.
just pumping
hours.
I was seeing there.
Yeah. I didn't even know you had a home.
Oh yeah, I just live there.
You were usually
That bench rack, yeah. Who squats these days?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Every time I see you, you're either at a stadium, a steakhouse, or you're at the gym.
Gotta get
That's
that
it.
prime rib,
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's right, dude. Go Horns, baby. Thanks for the steak. All right, Pete. Any questions? What are you thinking?
Go Horns.
Oh gosh. Go Horns. So, have y'all ever been on a podcast before? Either of y'all?
This is actually my first one.
First one.
First
Pete?
one.
Besides Beef Talk, the rival to Cattle Call.
Me and Lee, our other roommate, we have beef talk, and we're on that pretty much every night. Isaac's asleep by probably 3 a.m.
I usually
so
go to
me
bed
and
around
Lee
3.
get up around 3:30 a.m. and start beef talk about 6 hours long till he wakes up at 9:30. He doesn't even hear it.
No, I don't. I can't find it anywhere. I've been looking.
No, we blocked you from all of our
Oh, is
sites.
that why? Okay, I'll have to
Your
borrow my
IP
sister's
address has
phone.
been blocked. So is your sister. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh,
she
wow.
can't find it.
Smart.
Man, that's great, dude. Does Bluff City also sponsor Beef Talk?
we actually own beef talk.
Oh,
yeah.
no kidding?
Yeah, we don't sponsor it. We own it. Yeah.
Sole proprietor. Wow.
What an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys hustle, man.
Yeah.
All I do is a podcast that loses money and listeners every week. Okay, let's talk. I guess March Madness. Is there anything else sports betting we want to talk?
No.
We need to do.
I think-
Let's talk parlay. Talk that kind of
last
stuff.
one. Here we go. Yeah, this right here. I mean, this one's some fun right here, guys.
Oh man.
If you hit a parlay, any guy who's hit a parlay knows whether it's a $10 parlay or a $100 parlay. I mean, it's a winner. All right.
We
a
love a
parlay, for
parlay.
example, works. So say, just keep it simple. If you do a 3-game parlay, a
3-game.
4-game parlay. All right. So 3-game parlay, what that means is you have 3 picks. They all have to win.
Mm-hmm.
But say you put in $100, and let's say normally with the 3-to-1 parlay, so you pick 3 games, they all have to win.
Mm-hmm.
The payout is normally somewhere around 6-to-1. So you would put $100 in if all 3 games hit. If you win 2 and lose 1, you lose $100, right? If you win all 3 games though, payout potentially could be $600.
Right.
So that's why essentially you would lose $100, but it's the gambler's paradise of, but I could,
Right,
but I
right.
could win $600, and that's what keeps them coming back, baby.
Dude. Okay, didn't you have a crazy parlay one time?
Oh, I did. March Madness actually.
A couple years ago.
One of my good buddies. We were on spring break with his whole family actually. We went down we were in Miami, and then we went on a cruise, and we went to Atlantis. And obviously, you don't have to be 21 to gamble on Paradise Island down there. So
How close is that to Epstein's Island?
a good little drive,
Dude, a good submarine trip.
My buddy was like, "Dude, let's go put some money down in this parlay." I was like, "Dude, I got some cash on me. I think I had like $125 on me. Like,
Is this in the Bahamas?
This is in the Bahamas.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took 125 cash down, and I circled 5 winners on this card, and I said, "Man, it was my first time ever going to a window. I wasn't even 21 at the time. I went to a window, and I was like, I want these picks right here." And she was like, "Do you want a money line or spread?" And I said, "I just want to pick the winner." And she said, "So you want a money line?" I said, "Oh, yes, ma'am." So I was watching, and that was actually the game. So I was 4 for 4. The payout, I put 125 in. I want to say the payout was around $900 something. $900 something. And I actually was really, really upset on the cruise ship because there weren't TVs. Clearly, I couldn't just watch, ESPN or something like that.
Dude, what?
Yeah, what is this? 21st century, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I actually was watching the Texas Tech game on my phone, and my buddy, we were down. Texas Tech was down, I believe 12 points with like 40-something seconds left. Like something like the greatest March Madness comeback in the shortest amount of time.
Who
ever.
are they playing?
Oh, shoot. Northern Iowa, some purple team. I don't know. It didn't matter. They're irrelevant. They lost.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So I was like, man, I'm down. I quit watching, and then my buddy got an ESPN update that said greatest comeback in sports
And you
history.
didn't even watch it?
We didn't even watch it. I gave up on
Dude.
the game. I mean, there's 40-something seconds left, and they're down by 12. They had like 4 turnovers in a row. Hit a couple
that's like
buckets.
Tracy McGrady stuff.
And they're out here just pulling up from 3, hitting everything, and they ended up coming back to win. That was the 5th leg of my 5-game parlay, and I profited all that money, and it literally paid for my spring break plus. So if that right there didn't get you hooked, then I don't know what will.
Yeah, dude, hook 'em horns, baby. Wow. Okay, well, I don't know if anyone's going to be having that kind of luck. And they probably won't be doing it from a cruise ship in the Bahamas because we're not all king.
Oh, my word.
Man, Pete, as our layperson, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Any questions?
I mean, just hearing that story, makes me want to go out there
Makes you want to wager your house?
Yeah.
Put the mortgage on it. I hear
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah, I hear
I mean,
you.
it makes me want to go get in some parlays, man. Just put money down on a 3 or 5 game, parlay.
Yeah.
Just seeing what can happen. Put $1,000 down on a
Yeah.
5-game parlay.
I'm gonna
just pick winners. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
pick one.
Winners only.
Yeah. So you win every time
That's
because
right.
you're picking winners.
You're picking winners.
So by the time I put $1,000 in, I'd come out with 10,000. So
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
right
remind me to grab my pink slip out of my car before you leave.
Grab the checkbook while you're at it.
Yeah. Okay, and it seems like March Madness is a good time
Oh.
to parlay because you
Perfect
have
time.
64 teams,
16 games a day to start off.
16 games a day, and it starts tomorrow.
Starts at 11 a.m. and goes until about 11:30 tomorrow night. Central time, I don't know
Central
about
time,
you Eastern
Central time.
folks or, out yonder.
or Mountain and Pacific. Okay, so let's talk March Madness.
Let's do it.